Hello everybody and welcome back to Roadwarden. It has been a while, but we have a lot to do today. We have a lot of travel to get done. There are quite a few places we can go. We found Old Pigos, but it is blocked off. We met a stranger, exploring the abandoned village. We found out the tree reacts to blood. We didn't explore it much more than that, but I am extremely tempted to. However, I also would really like to get to Gale Rocks, because you guys said that there's a lot to do there, so it might be a good idea to at least head that way. Which way is Gale Rocks? Because we have, warnings to give to people. We have a lot of stuff to do. And I have two things to do at day 10. We have the bird hunting, and we need the healing potion. So if we could find one, that would be great. Maybe that's a place to go to Gale Rocks for, but which way would Gale Rocks be? Yeah, the northern road. So if we keep going this way, we'll probably get there. So let's just get started. I would like to explore as much of the map as possible, especially as we start to run out of days, because we're not that far in. We're, what day are we on? I've got to check. Day 5, so we have plenty of time. The more travel we do now, the easier it will be to get around later, so let's just keep going. To the north, I think. The road east is beaten and clean, with enough space to fit 2 wagons side by side. You pass by a few plum trees, apple trees, and cherry trees, but many more stumps, likely belonging to what has been turned into Foggy Lake. Okay, I think I went the wrong way. The life in the plains is busy and loud, but so far you don't see any lurking beasts. Judging by the many trampled parts of the meadows and the fresh fruit trails, the foragers searched this corner of the peninsula quite often. They didn't leave much behind. You reach a shining pond at the edge of the forest. You ride beneath 2 trimmed trees growing on the opposite sides of the path, like columns leading to Right's temple. Shouts and heavy steps prepare you for trouble ahead. Uh-oh. 2 shells are circling around each other. One of them is a 4-legged saurian with dark gray skin, as long as your palfrey but only knee-high. It's wandering left and right along the bank, hissing, repetitively sticking its split tongue out and retracting it. The stout monster doesn't look like a born hunter of humans, but its long tail is swinging like a whip. For now, only threateningly so, but you don't doubt that getting hit by it would likely break your bones. The second one belongs to a brown-skinned man wearing leather pants, a long brown woolen cloak, and the matching pelt of a wolf on his head and shoulders, like a haunting hood. His voice is both gentle and scared, and he's stretching his hands in front of him, trying to make the beast stay away as if it's a mothling. The third shell is right in the middle between the other 2. A creature you don't recognize from a distance, but it is in a puddle of its own blood and isn't moving. I'll quick save and I'll rush over to help. Joffrey charges forward, though it strays a bit to the left, as if hoping that you'll change your mind before you ride it into the Saurian. You allow it to do so and land on the ground between the 2 enemies. The man's voice turns into laughter, and you realize that the dead shell belongs not to a human, but to a creature covered with white fur. Don't worry, friend. I'm trying to scare it away from the Ibex. Oh, okay. How can I help? Don't think your Ibex can be helped. Why? It would be easier to catch something by yourself. I'm not going to help you die for a scrap of meat. I thought the beast killed someone. How can I help? He grins triumphantly and raises a finger. That's the spirit. This Ibex is our destiny. He points at the beast, and as his hat moves around, the loose, shaking jaw distracts you. Say, friend, do you have any fruits in those sacks? Throw some of it. Why'd you care about fruits? This is not really worth the risk. We're gonna try. He scratches his hood and nods with approval. You know what, friend? That's an excellent plan. Do so. Without another glance, he shouts again at the beast, then dashes away from you, followed by his cape. The monster hisses and reaches forward, as if wanting to see what you're going to do. You step forward, hoping to draw the monster's attention as far away from the carcass as possible. It answers your challenge and shortens the distance even further. Focus on avoiding attacks. We're not that buff. How do you expect it to strike? That tail. I was warned specifically about the tail. The Saurian still surprises you with the range of its attacks. It turns around while pouncing forward and swings the tail at your chest. Thanks to all the attention you paid to its movement, you duck beneath it, then jump away. The next few sways are distant enough that you don't have to fear them. Ha! Dumb beast, you hear. The thief is running away with the Ibex on his back, holding it by its legs while it hangs from its shoulders. What? You chase after him, barely able to outspeed the monster yourself as it has already lost any interest in you. Without your help, with the weight of the carcass, you doubt the man could get far. Oh, run, Jeffrey! You follow the trail of blood, as well as the constantly bouncing head of a brown wolf. As you get close, the man doesn't mind sharing the burden with you. Oh, okay, I thought he was stealing Jeffrey for a second. You now hold the creature by its head. While running side by side is awkward, the weight isn't overwhelming. Your palfrey leads the two of you up the hill. It didn't even touch you, some good dodging. He warmly laughs. But let's not tempt fate. He looks back, yells in panic, and speeds up. Oh, yikes, we're in trouble. Oh, but the clash never comes. After another minute, the beast gives up on its pursuits, though you wouldn't have realized it if it wasn't for Joffrey, who now trots without a single care. You look back, and the Saurian indeed backs down, moving to its pond slowly. Once you approach the woods, you take a short break. Even from a distance, you can see a distinct trail leading between the trees. Not a garden, this forest, the man speaks briefly, gasping from the burden. But not too dark. The cats are but few. Boars are there, though, and gargoyles. Better not go too deep. There are no roads there. Oh, good to know, thank you. His face is not much older than 20, shaved with great care, cleaner than among the city folk. While his hood and heavy cloak mask his figure, he seems well-fed and healthy. We're halfway there, friend. Creeks is a gorgeous place, you know. You'll love it. Oh, wait, Creeks? We're going to Creeks? What do I know about Creeks? Fishers, hunters, woodcutters. Locals are lighthearted and eager to have fun and appreciate those who approach them with a smile. Oh, okay. Guess it's a good thing I wasn't an asshole. I'm sure I will. Carrying the ibex takes a while, but the man is incapable of being silent. Every unusual tree seems to be tied to a story from his life, and he makes sure that you notice the first stream you cross on a new solid bridge. One of many creeks you see, he says with untamed amusement. A thin gorge leads you between the mountains. Feels like an end of a realm. Ooh. You follow the trail of shouts and laughter. 7 people, each about 20 years old each, are gathered at the wooden bridge, leaning against the railing, bathing in the stream, lying on the grass. Pieces of clothing made of fur and leather are spread around, next to cuddles and throwing clubs. Once the sound of hooves manages to break through the clattering, the curious young eyes, untouched by wartime, turn towards you, and an excited whisper spreads. The shells are proudly displayed, and the confident smiles are both inviting and challenging. How's water? The hunter greets his tribesfolk while stepping on the logs. Gentle and warm, says a man, resting on his friend's shoulder. That's a nice ibex. There are paths leading in many directions, but the main road will take you uphill. Oh, I'm gonna look at them. No reason to be embarrassed. The light dances on wet hair, both on their heads and crotches, luring your eyes as much as the revealed chests and muscular arms. You've interrupted not just their bath. The soul who's speaking with your guide is embracing another man as he's sitting behind him, while another woman is keeping her arm around the waist of yet another man. You hardly see any wounds or marks caused by sickness. The harshest days of this group are still ahead. As you move your eyes from one person to another, they greet you with kind nods, but you notice that their eyes are focused on your rugged clothes. Once you step off the bridge, the hunter chuckles. Sinking warmth, aye? Do not worry. We're not that obsessed with outfits. The wolf's head bounces as he speaks. Okay, I mean, you look pretty cool, but I'll follow you. The palisade is as tall as trees, but being placed at the top of the crags makes it look impassable. What? Why's the gate closed? The hunter turns to the watchtower and repeats the question, only louder. Maybe call Ella? Too blind to see we have a guest, aye? A hardly visible guard with a female voice leans over from the tower. He's coming, Howler, relax! Her shout hints of no patience towards him. The youth dine in the woods after the bath. Why wouldn't we close? The man glances at you. Who's Ella? Just my brother. He gestures for you to ignore it. And I'm Elfrin. So thanks to our parents, folks keep mistaking our names. But Ella has a stick in his ass and is as boring and nagging as a legless donkey. The soul from the tower hides again, and the gates open. We enter the village. Ooh! The sparse clumps of grass survive only on the edges of this spacious yard. The few onlookers wear working clothes, suitable for their hard labor. They're carrying tools, planks, and logs. You're next to a large building of unusual shape, either a temple or a house of gathering. It makes you think of a cabin that's been getting larger over the course of the years, with the section in the middle being darker and more crude than the outer ones. A slightly overweight man is standing in front of the building with open arms. Welcome to Creeks, friend! His voice and eyes are gentle, but there's a vigor in his stance and gestures. Ephraim was meant to hunt, but I see he brought not one, but 2 unusual creatures. The hunter rolls his eyes. Don't embarrass us with this prattle. He raises his voice and fills it with bitterness, addressing no soul in particular. And maybe ask someone to help us with this Ibex? It's our shared catch. He points at you. Now I want to know to whom we are grateful. Ella nods towards you. I introduce myself and stare, observation style. Being close to 30 years old, he's one of the older souls around. Just like the other villagers, he has clothes made of animals, not plants. The leather pants and jacket are humble, but the shoulder cape, reaching from his neck to elbows, used to belong to a yellow elk. His brown skin is darker than that of a farmer, and as you look at the outreached hands, they carry marks of being cut by tools. And I'm Ella, the carpenter. We've heard of you from Foggy. He takes a step towards the fruit trees and invites you to move forward. Like most men in the village, he's cleanly shaved. How about I show you the rest of the village? It may be humble, but it's as beautiful as a blue starling. Let's see. Sounds lovely. Sure. I've wasted enough time. Can we talk about the peninsula? I believe I was told, the locals are lighthearted and eager to have fun, appreciate those who approach them with a smile. Let's be friendly. That sounds lovely. As he grins, you notice his unusually white teeth. He moves with heavy but enthusiastic steps. It won't really take long, but we have quite a view. I swear, interrupts the hunter. I'm not carrying this Ibex to the kitchen. Someone call the cooks. After dropping the carcass on the ground, he springs away, fretting at the blood on his hands. Let's take a stroll then, says Ella as he leads you forward. Your mount can drink at the creek here. Yes, come on, Joffrey. You did good today, my boy. I love you. Mwah. Good horsey. He's the best horse ever. It's just a fact. You tether your mount to a tree next to the drying laundry. Ella points at the land behind the bridge proudly. Our newest addition to the village. The hunters grow old, so we're taking steps away from meat and fruits. You spot only 2 people working in the field, or rather, a large garden covered with cabbages, carrots, onions, and garlic, indistinguishable from the wild plants growing in the woods. On the path between the 2 halves of the field, an elderly woman is sitting on a stool, looking in your direction as if you're interrupting her contemplation. I'm sorry, I'm having a tour. Old Halva there will turn this place into a proper farm one day. She has little strength, but keeps precious memories for trade. Hang on a minute, isn't there... Maybe this could be my inn. Because there's another town that's, like, way better with planting and stuff, right? Yeah, Howler's Dell has good farmers, and isn't there someone there who wants to get married, or is that somewhere else? Timo from Howler's Dell. Move with her or take her to a new home. We can ask around here, maybe we can find someone for Timo. Definitely. She seems austere. Ephraim snorts, holding his laughter. Just be happy you haven't grown under her. I'm lucky to have my ears after all the pulling and pinching. Don't overcolor. She cares a lot. Ella invites you with a gesture to follow him deeper into the village. At least about the quiet children. Just let her do the talking. The fewer things you say, the fewer reasons for her to get upset. Yeah, I know the type. Feel like I've run into a lot of those types around here while I've been traveling. The bonfire spot is surrounded by logs that were cut into tables and stools. Ella approaches the nearest chair, rubbing its back with his cut hands. When we share a meal, we do so here, sometimes beneath the stars. You'd have to see it. The flames dance on the walls to the monster roars and crickets. Ephraim's voice also grows in enthusiasm. Dining at the edge of the forest is something you wouldn't forget. Unless you can drink, don't swallow anything stronger than spoiled Ibex milk, the shadow's friend. Terrifying. You glance over the wooden buildings. While the walls seem fine, the roofs are primitive, mostly made of planks that are clearly soggy and bent. There are a few people working on cleaning bark from a log, but the square is mostly quiet, with a few kids observing you from above their toys. I imagine what such dinners would look like, one big family. Ella flashes you a disarming, white smile. Yeah, huge one. We don't have any rooms to spare. He looks at the children as they return to their crude, wooden toys. They don't realize yet how small our home is. They've hardly seen anyone from the world outside, and the trade occurs at Foggy Lake. And good for them, the hunter chirps in. They don't miss much. Other than spouses, we have everything we need. Oh, spouses? I know someone who's looking for a spouse. And so far, we have plenty of fresh meat. Some of us, even too much. He smirks at the carpenter, who in response, turns and walks away. Okay, I'm following? Wait for me! You stand between the 2 of the houses, in front of the gate of an animal pen. The walls are made of sharpened trunks and are as tall as 2 humans. The captured beasts are tethered by ropes, but have enough freedom to wander and graze. 2 brown boars and a black mouflin. And here are our captives, Ephraim declares proudly. I know, it's still a bit empty, but we'll crowd it just before winter. Are the ropes really enough to keep them here? Both men look at the animals with renewed curiosity. Well, the hunter starts, if they can free themselves from a hemp rope, then squeeze through the stakes and while no soul sees them, and then get to free them again, I'd say they deserve to do so. Ella leans against the gate and points at the area behind the palisade. The mufflin may disappear, but the boars would be stuck on this plateau. Have you noticed the old forest, friend? Oh? Ooh. The vast clearing is returning to life, with shrubs spread between the paths and tree stumps. You move to the bridge, then a gateway, and have a chance to look around. We can see the edge of our world from the watchtower. Ella narrates sublimely. In the long distance, the plateau ends, surrounded by cliffs. You either climb up the mountains, or fall to your death. Both men tell you about the difficult past of the village. A desperate camp, then a cabin, then 2, shifting its wooden walls as more and more trees were cut. Without tree crowns, we can walk with no shadows, beast den, gargoyle eyes, concludes the carpenter. Is it really better than a forest garden? You hit the heart of our worries, friend, Ella admits, and is interrupted by the hunter quickly. We did what we had to do to push away the beasts. They don't feel safe here and don't seek food on the shrubs as they would on trees. Ella tells you there's one more thing you need to see as you walk away. He turns to matters at hand. The animals keep their distance now, at least in the meadows, so hunting for them gets difficult, and meat with hardly any mushrooms and herbs gets bland. A forest garden would solve the problem, sure, but we don't know enough to even start one. Hence, a field of berries. He taps his stomach. First, we need to learn how to feed our children. We lack strength and skill. Ephraim looks at you. But we have time. With time comes opportunity! You reach the edge of the village, a cliff as tall as the wall. Beneath you, 2 creeks meet each other and form a gentle river. These are the trees we use to learn more about woodwork. Ella is smiling as he leans his back against the wall of the house. We plant new ones, but we'll soon have to bring wood from farther away. Give the saplings a few years, or however long they grow. A decade? And this is where I leave the 2 of you with your boring tree talks. Elfrin points at you. See me later if you need. I'll be around. I rarely hunt alone. The carpenter watches his departing companion with genial eyes. Well, there's work to be done. A new chair awaits me. He leads you to a humble working station, placed at the edge of the square. The tools you notice are very simple, if not primitive. We don't have to talk about my trade, Yabby. What brings you to us? I have many questions, but this does seem like a good place where we could find, a wife. Or a husband. But it also sounds like this village could definitely use the help. Maybe Howler's Dell would want to make a deal with them. Let's start with this. Old Pagos is suffering from a plague. The village is isolating itself from outsiders. He freezes, puts away his tools, and looks at you with wide eyes. Wait for a bit, will you? Without waiting for a response, he springs up and knocks down a few planks as he lurches away, asking his neighbors to call the entire tribe. People surround you, asking what's going on, and once the news spreads, you answer dozens of questions, though most of what you could say is summed up with, I'm not sure. Aside from the worried faces, there are also more pragmatic ones. Hunters mention they won't be able to deliver their autumn pelts, while one of the farmers wonders about her cousins. She's always so pious, she says with an accent you remember from Old Pagos. May the right reward her prayers, or else. After some time, the crowd pays you little attention, and Ella leads back to his workshop. They and I will discuss this later, he says with an absent voice, then sits down and glances at his neighbors. Hopefully I could find a cure. I'm not surprised they don't have one here, but it still felt good to inform them. I heard about the bandits. Have they caused any troubles? He makes an awkward cut with the chisel, and lets out a quiet shit, then starts to rub the plank with his thumb. Bandits, you say? Soldiers from the city have already taken care of them. He doesn't trust me. Okay. Is Asterion around? He halts his work and looks at you with an exaggerated frown. That's a weird question. You're the first Roadwarden I've seen. Well, this season, I think. Did you check the western villages? You get to Howler's Dell simply staying on the road. His right hand, still holding a tool, is now squeezing his stomach gently. You're hiding something, but are you gonna trust me? Here, let's ask about other stuff and then we'll circle back around. What do you think of Ephraim? He gives you a surprised look. I care for him deeply. He's brave and has a big heart, but both our pasts were rough. I don't think you need to hear about them, okay? Doesn't trust me enough? I imagine being a carpenter in this part of the realm isn't easy. You have a healthy imagination. He rests his elbow on the workbench and smiles. I have patience, and I'm getting better with tools, and these are some shoddy tools, he says singingly, and it's hard to disagree with him. They've been used for many years, with only the wooden parts being somewhat in shape since they seem to have been recently replaced. The steel chisels and saws are jagged and dull, and the hammers and axes are made of stone. Again, this seems like it could really work for Howler's Dell. Some of them were brought here by the settlers, and we can't buy any more right now. There's work to be done, but I do have a plan. You ask him to explain, and he's all too eager to do so. He enters the nearby house and shows you his more successful works, each of which has some shortcomings, noticeable even to a layperson. A bowl engraved with fish was poorly planned, with animals too large to fit the entire space. And so a part of it is blank. A simple relief of two naked people in their embrace looks almost believable, but the legs are in one case too long, and in the other, too short. One chair has a broken leg, the remaining three show that they're a bit too ambitiously shaped and got dangerously thin. The chest seems fine, but equipment sticks out of it, and the man acknowledges that he wrongly estimated the required size. So you want to be an artist? Better! I want to turn pots, cups, weapons, cupboards, everyday things into things of beauty. Seeing your look, he pats his stomach. I know I'm far from mastering it, but trust me, these are so much better than the ones I did this winter, and I only started 3 years ago. His pride makes him look even larger, especially in the shoulders. There aren't many carpenters in the peninsula. Folks do things for their own use, but I'll be a specialist. It's the city thing. Foggy told me so. Not just a jointer, but someone who does only a few things, but better than others. The tribe supports me with food and time, and I'll pay them back with dragon bones and prettier houses. He then leads you outside to share with you his excitement, but most of it dwindles away after you sit down on his workbench again, on wobbly stools surrounded by broken planks and crude tools. Yikes. I heard you have some issues with the Eastern Path. At first he gives you a bright smile, then nods with a sigh. Aye, so our issues are so clear that folk gossip on them? I'm glad you came for our help, friend, but it doesn't feel right to admit we need help from an outsider. He stands up slowly, walks away, and leaps over one of the log-made tables and looks for something in the pile of wood. In this part of the land, there's always going to be something to do for a Roadwarden. He straightens up with a piece of charred wood in his hand and gets back to you. As he draws black lines on the workbench, he mentions a few names. Creeks, Foggies, Gales Rock's there, here's the lake. The map is simplistic and doesn't align with your own understanding of local distances, but you follow his description without issues. The path from here to the south is getting too wild for us, he repines, making another few strokes. The merchants travel through the other route, through Howler's Dell, passing by Old Pagos and White Marshes. Once they reach Foggy, they already have full stomachs and many deals closed. And when they travel back, they visit the same places again. Folks already know that trading here takes a long time. Okay, so you want me to give them an option to get to you first and move west and do so all by myself. Yeah, how do you want me to do that? Well, I'm sure you can find some help. He pats his stomach without noticing that he leaves a few black dots on his leather jacket. There are a few things you could do. Follow the eastern road and see if it's clear. Are there any safe shelters left? Any blockades to get rid of? Is there an overgrown path to burn? Maybe see if the road from here to the western crossroads is safe. Or if the carts could get through the heart of the woods. If you're brave enough, I hope you're a soul with sage judgment. Seeing your puzzled look, he rests his palms on the table with a shy smile. I know I'm vague, but I bet you already know more about these roads than I do, friend. His eyes return to the map. After a moment of hesitation, he rubs an uneven line with his thumb. How can you know if I'll be honest with you? Where would you like me to start? Put work into the western road, you could split the labor with the other settlements. You forgot to mention my pay! Let me ask this one. They can't be trusted, especially some of them. He crosses the western side of his map with a long, thin line. Even a paved route would force merchants to add a day of pointless travel to their plans, and that's a big loss in their trade. Having our path clear gives everyone more options, and more convenience. What about my pay? That depends on what you're about to do, eh? The tribe has but a few dragons. To confirm his word, he enters the nearby house, from which he picks up an old wooden case, crude in shape and with a unsightly engraving of a three-headed hydra on its lid. Inside it, you see maybe 24 dragon bones. Let's say you'll get a dragon for any news about cleared or blocked areas, and more if it takes real effort from you. Act first and pick up my reward after. Where would you like me to start? Go to the shelters set just at the side of the roads. There's a ruined camp west of Foggy's. He makes a small circle on his map. Or you could go south to a cabin our elders built. He makes a larger square. It's halfway from here to the river. Take a look around, see what's their condition. If there are any beasts around, you can handle a few small creatures, can't you? Okay, and you want me to just take care of anything I find? He laughs, but not with his eyes. Forgive me, friend, but you don't sound like someone with much experience behind them. You're nothing like Asterion. He took pride in his self-reliance. Hey, I thought you didn't know him! Fine, we have a... I need money! I really want a crossbow! Fine, we have a deal. He flashes you a wide smile. You won't regret this. He then throws away the charred woods, returns to his stool, and looks for his tools. Oh yeah. I do know about one already. The shelter to the west. Better stay away from it until the dusk foxes move out. Dusk foxes? After he meets your silence, he carries on. I don't know what that is. You describe their looks and the threat they present as Ella observes the clouds, sometimes asking you to explain more. He finally squeezes his cloak and reaches for a coin that's been resting on the workbench. Well, sounds not as dangerous as a tribe of goblins, but it may be better for us to hunt them down in spring. We may need your help then. For now, a single dragon bone will be fair pay for the news. Thanks. Well, that's a start. Keep it up. Alright, that's all I've got for now. How many dragon bones do I have? Not a lot, I don't think. Only have 2. Damn. I do have stuff I could sell. Maybe they want them? We'll see. Oh! Oh, will he talk to me now? Let's see. I'm worried about those bandits. He looks at you a bit and then nods slowly. Those are not some strangers, but folks of the north, our neighbors. One of them is from our very own tribe, and they don't target us, just strangers. You ask him again if he's sure no one from his village has been targeted so far, and after a cold eye, he reaches for his carving knife. Okay. What about Ephraim? Tell me now. He slowly starts to speak, making sure his tribesfolk don't eavesdrop. His soul is clouded. He thinks we have no right to waste what the dead have sacrificed for our sake, and that we disrespect them by staying weak. But all of it is just a cloak that hides him. He cares not about respect, but about his guilt. It takes a bit of convincing before he explains what he means by that. Our father died from claws, our mother from a bad birth. We used to have 5 brothers and sisters, all of them dead now. Some maybe could have been saved, but not all, and surely not by being stronger. Yet Ephraim keeps thinking he had every opportunity to fix the tragedies, and he's to blame for letting them down. Him and I both. He falls silent. But at least I put my shame to use. He reaches for his tools again. We already have everything that we need. A beautiful home, enough food, fewer beasts than ever. It's going to be a rough lifetime for us. He takes a swing. But our kids will be fine. I really think you guys should talk to Hallersdale. Alright, I'd like to learn more about the peninsula. Tribe won't be much help there, he admits while judging the harsh surface of a small plank. It was our parents who did all the traveling, and they did so while we were kids, or not yet born. Most of them are already gone, and most of us travel no farther than to Foggy's, and only when we have to. Alright? What's the story of the village? He proudly raises a carving knife and gestures for you to look around. It may be a young village, but there's a lot to say. While his story is bloated with names, relationships, a step-by-step description of the growth of the settlement, and bothersome creatures, you get the gist of it. The settlers arrived here 25 years ago. Soon after, one of the 10 cities had fallen to the southern invasion. Most of them came from the capital, while some joined along the way. They soon came to realize that none of the villages had enough space or the will to host a few dozen refugees. The folks of Gale Rock used to have a much kinder attitude towards strangers than they do now, and they offered the newcomers to stay at the beach behind their village. Yet there was nothing for them to eat other than what they caught in the salt waters. They soon started to search for a land remote enough to not compete with the locals, and with the help of kind folks from Gale's Rock, White Marshes, Old Pagos, and others, as Ella vaguely states, they reach enough wood and tools to turn a scrap of this plateau into a clearing, then a camp, a hamlet, and finally, a village. Pay attention! The tale is assisted by walking around the village, introducing you to the original settlers and their offspring, and showing you some of the treasures displayed in the House of Gatherings. A unicorn's horn found at the heart of the woods, a blue rock that's shaped and hollow like an egg, and is darker inside, an arrow that hit a fright ape right in the eye and knocked it down. Behind each of them, there are names, stories, and memories. At the very end, Ella leads you back to his workbench, holding a hand on his conspicuous stomach. You've been doing that a lot. Are you okay? To give his throat some rest, he turns the topic around. And what are the folks in Hovlevin like, friend? Foggy says there are thousands of souls at the capital, and one can go their entire life still finding new faces in the crowd. My city feels lonely, many people around, too busy with their duties. Spend time with family and close friends, close to each other but no soul what happens behind those doors. Hard to get to know new people when everyone's too busy. Find people to hang out with, shop together. It's not easy to build a strong friendship. My city feels lonely. He nods. A few years back we had a visitor who hoped to move in with us, saying they were a stranger in their own land. We agreed and they departed to Hovlevin to pick up their things, but never came back. He sits down next to his tools. Does it bother you, this loneliness? Very much so. So your soul is healthy and close to ours. His eyes and voice are solemn at first, but his bright smile returns quickly. He adjusts his shoulder cloak and asks if you need anything else. Yes, I do. Tell me about Asterion now. He adjusts his shoulder cape and clears his throat with a grunt. People, aye? Well, there's some truth to that, but Asterion isn't here, and we don't know where he is. He took our coins, but for fair labor, he moved wares to other settlements, patrolled the roads, escorted an old woman to a druid and back. Did you know you can get good prices for iron at Howler's Dell, but even better at White Marshes? Seeing your look, he turns away and rests his elbow on his workbench. His plans are his own problem, and I have no reason to believe he wanted to be found. Nor can I help you. Please, I need to know. Ooh, he springs up, still holding his tools and demonstrating his threatening physique, and raises his voice. I am serious, I don't know. He looks behind him and even takes a step back, but with every few gestures his breath gets a bit slower. He said there's something of great value hidden in the wilderness, Roadwarden. A treasure, I think, and that treasure would change the North. He rubs his forearms, but there's still tension in his shell. He needed help we couldn't give him, and told us to prepare for Glaucia and her bandits to come for supplies. He paid for them up front, but she never came. Neither did he. When he sits down again, he doesn't look at you. I never saw him like that before. He was tired and worried, friend. His words lacked confidence. It may very well be that something caught him, but we weren't a part of this. Now please, let me be. Alright, I'm glad I saved that for the end. Ooh, yes. Let's do this one. After a few minutes, you find yourself sitting at a table with Shoshi, a dark-haired 20-year-old who some call a woodcutter, others a singer. In both of these roles, her massive stature must be of help. When she walks, she either carries a large axe on her shoulders or swings it around, towering over her tribesfolk like a chieftain from Tales of War. She admits she enjoys a friendly shag from time to time, but can't see a future for her in the creeks. Enough of these friends lose their lives in the wilderness. I start seeing cats and gargoyles in every shadow. I'd rather have a few calm, safe years at the side of a pretty little woman who I'll see in my bed in the evenings. Though, you know, friend, not just her. She lets out a sonorous laughter. You mention that you don't know if she'll be able to keep her trade after moving away, and she strokes her axe with affection. I'd miss the woods, but who knows? My tribes can't be the only one that cuts trees around here, aye? You try to ask her about her worldview, but she just gets bored by the topic. We're here, she looks around, have no temples and priests, and I don't aim to become one. Alright? Did that teach me anything? I still need to try and find a match? Pretty sure I could. Let's see. Yes, Shoshi from the Creeks, safe slow life with a woman who lives in another village, interested in keeping their relationship open. Okay, there's Timo, but I don't know if Timo would like... We'll have to ask in Gale's Rock, too. Let's see. Ephraim, do you want to chat? He's lost in his thoughts. Are you the only hunter around? But of course not. He takes a suspiciously long pause. 7 of us. The tribe is small. We have enough food without daily trips. If we catch too much meat, it spoils, so it's better to let the animals feel safe. You try to change the topic, but the man suddenly looks around and lowers his wolf's head. Well, there's just one issue. 3 of my friends left the village just a few days ago, and they haven't returned yet. But they should. Ella is going to ask questions, and soon. Aren't you worried about the other hunters? He walks around, from time to time looking at you with an open mouth, not sure of how to start. He takes off his heavy cloak and looks you in the eyes. They left for a few days to seek and kill some big game, each of them a different one, then bring all of them for me to judge. His confident voice falters when he mentions his own part. The winner would have caught me the prey of the greatest size, rarity, and utility, and of the greatest threat. Oh! So you did this! He turns away and lowers the wolf's mouth. Tell me more. There are hunters and fighters, but also close friends. If one of them was in trouble, the others would have done all they could to help. They've been a team for years, and we're planning to start a family this winter, you know? Their last big adventure before Dahlia's belly locks her at home. He gives you quite the tale of their deeds and features. Dahlia is the bravest of them, with strong legs. She has simple ways and looks for beasts in the open by the roads. Her hair is light and tied in a single braid. Admin is a man who seeks paths and hard challenges. He believes that seeking knowledge of the peninsula will bring the tribe ways to survive hardships. He is smaller than the others, and knows more about dressing the wild game than any of us. His arms are small, so he often places traps. His hair is a bit darker than Dahlia's, but short, just like his beard. Vashel is not a man, though they were born with a prick, and wears browns and greens to blend in with the trees. They hunt like a gargoyle, hiding among leaves, jumping at creatures when it gets close. Because of that, they have often roamed in the woods, even those that are far away from the village. Okay? Let's say I find them. What should I tell them? Have you no shred of optimism? Maybe they're fine. Just tell them to come home. We've got enough wood and food to start the next feast. And I have a hint that an honorable guest may be welcome there. He smiles at you, and for a moment you think you see the wolf's head wink. Why not work in groups? This isn't a hunt, but a competition. The winner names their first child. I've heard their arguments. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to pick a name when you have 3 parents. He chuckles to himself. Once the memory fades, he gets serious again. But I can't disagree with you, friend. It's the first time in many years since my tribesfolk have gone on such a reckless trip, and I fear it may remind us why the peninsula isn't a place for adventurers. I'm gonna be stingy. Can I have a reward? Isn't helping 3 young, strong souls enough? Seeing your look, he raises his voice, draws his obsidian-edged glove, and touches his chest with it. Then I will loyally assist you, friend. For your brave deeds, you may count on me on a day of great challenge. He lowers his weapon and winks at you, and others will be grateful as well, you know that? How about some money? He purses his lips, swallowing his pride. Oh, well, I have none. Our village doesn't really trade. Alright, where should I start? I'm not gonna say no. Would have found them myself if I knew. Let the horses take you to other settlements, ask there? Alright, I'll try. Oh, does this rawhide belong to your tribe? Yes, here. He gives it only a glance, then throws it away. I think so? After you describe where you found it, he reaches towards the wolf's head but doesn't touch it. Me and the other hunters go to this place in spring, when there are fewer beasts around, sit on blankets. He points at the hide. Eat before the hunt. Maybe you'll find a trail there? Alright, I will. What do you think about Ella? He repeats her question, making sure he heard correctly. I respect him. He took good care of me as an older brother. Our tale isn't an easy one, so I'd rather keep it to ourselves before you blurt something back to him. Okay, you don't trust me yet. What about the Pelt of the North? Did they hinder your job? Nah, they only get closer when they chase after wounded prey, so our woods stay mostly the same. You could have another village twice our size. He glances towards the gate. Halfway from here to Pelt, and there would still be more than enough game for every belly, as long as they would forage and set up farms. You ask him if he has ever considered joining professional hunters, but he takes off the wolf's head and gives it to you so you can take a better look. It's weirdly warm in the sun. That's the only wolf any of us felled in the last 5 years, you see? Not that we're cowards, he suddenly raises his voice. Our trade just isn't like the big game hunters. I place fish traps, put glue to catch birds, shoot rocks at rats and rabbits, when in a group we may seek roe deer or our rocks. He takes the hat back and looks at it with nostalgia. Those in the inn seek trophies, not meat, so they hunt for big beasts, one that, fight back. Our ways are different, but I like that bunch. At least they smile, unlike others in the peninsula. Hunters will always find a common tongue. Once you see enough blood and guts, you have to laugh, or go crazy. What do you know about the road? I know to avoid it. Blood there. Seeing you're waiting for a longer tale, he adjusts his heavy cloak, spending a good minute on making sure you understand it's a dangerous place. You do better riding around it. The northern road is the safest, he concludes. After you insist that any sort of guidance might be of use, he scratches the wolf's head. I've heard from a friend that gnolls were moving there. They're very small beast folks, you know? He moves an open hand close to his hips, portraying the height. They'll threaten you until you give them some meat, and that's all they eat. No fruits, no, I don't know, bones. But it's the fright apes that scare me the most, and they're an entire family of them. Trust me, if you ever hear the terrible scream of a human somewhere in the tree crowns, run as fast as you can. Don't seek it, and certainly don't fight it. Just ride as fast as you can. Okay, I'll remember that. I think I've been given that advice before. No, what did I do? I didn't mean to leave. I plan to help the foragers with catching a big runner. Any tips on how to approach this? So what's their scheme? He looks at the tavern's direction, pausing for a moment, then straightens up. Ah, so you're seeking advice from a more experienced hunter. Don't get too cocky. He pats his club proudly. Well, there's the usual stuff. Don't fight hungry, have a decent jacket, be sure to have something to block a bird's charge. Oh, and maybe... He points at the sky, then stretches out his arms, as if holding a long stick. A spear! The longer you keep a runner at a distance, the better. Have you ever fought such a bird? Not yet, but I ran away from a few, and not everyone can say that. He lets out a burst of jaunty laughter. They're way too common at the edges of our woods, if you ask me. Ever since I met the first one, I jog. Maybe not every day, but almost. Pretty smart, considering how dangerous this place is. Alright, where else? Alright, what about Old Hava? You follow the path between the fields, witnessing a one-sided conversation between Old Hava and a barely adult man. She orders him around, pointing at various plants, criticizing the sight of the weeds, and addressing the fancy clothes he's wearing. He observes his red-dyed boots and lets out a relieved sigh at your arrival. I better change, he mumbles, heading to the main square. Oop, sorry, I'll move out of the way. The woman spares you a wry glance, then turns away, focused at the struggling vegetables. She's the only person in the village who wears clothes made of plant fabric, but they're weathered and covered with decades-old patches. Her hands, clasped behind her back, are constantly twitching. I was told to be quiet around you. What do you have for sale? I'll wait patiently. After a minute, you realize that her keen eyes are indeed observing the leaves instead of just disregarding your presence. She clears her throat and points at one of the carrots. Their color is good, dark, but they're small. I think the soil is too dense. She's gathering her thoughts for another few breaths, then looks at you softly. I have time now, Roadwarden. What do you have for sale? We sold what we had, we're lacking hunters, and these. She looks at the wrinkled vegetables. Will go into a stew, if they're even worth picking. Without noticing, she grabs her left forearm with her right hand, but it doesn't stop the twitching. We've always had a fish trap to spare, we make them just in case. A large basket, put it in a creek and wait a day or two until something swims inside. I'll sell you one for 2 dragon bones. And if you'd rather eat something right away, she carries on after a short pause, our cooks could spare you some roast grouse or chicken. It'll be cold but fresh. We always have one. You never know when there are maggots in your supplies, and kids shouldn't skip a meal. You ask her to tell you more, but her patience grows thin. It's the best light roast in the north. We add plenty of spices to it, so it spoils slowly. That's it. Alright? Fish trap, roast chicken. Oh, that does sound good. I do have another fish trap, though. Maybe I should wait? I'll wait. Didn't expect many merchants to reach this place. Why don't you move your traps to Foggy's? What's it to you? She doesn't wait for your response. Does our yard look like it has space for nets? Do you have a place to sleep? We need another hut, and we have no space for it. She gazes at you with dry, tired eyes. If you need a scrap of floor, go to the tavern. Alright? What about the creek? The calming sounds of the waterfall around you, you observe the stream as clean as a spring. The oak ash soap you own is not enough to help you get cleaner. Okay. I step away. I don't know if there's anything to do here right now. So I think we still have a good amount of time. Why don't we keep traveling? We've reached the creeks. This is kind of the end over here. Where would Gale's Rocks be? I guess I could travel to Howler's Dell, but maybe I should go down? Which way is north? Maybe this way? Oh, maybe it is, because Old Pagos is right there. That's the coast. So if we go up near Foggy Lake, maybe we can make it to Gale Rocks? At least I assume? I'm gonna assume, and we're gonna go that way. We're gonna continue. I don't want to buy anything right now. We'll come back here if we need a rest. Plus, we might need those dragon bones to, get some moolah. Wait, no. The dragon bones are moolah. I mean to, sleep somewhere. Alright, let's just keep going. You follow the road spread between the hills and lonely trees until you reach a solid wooden bridge, not older than a generation. You ride uphill, but Joffrey manages to keep it up. The dark woods in the south are behind a gently humming creek, while the forest on your right was trimmed by the locals. It's a peaceful journey, at least for some time. After a few minutes, you spot a group of wolves feasting on a fallen, furry beast, maybe a Wyzant. One of them looks towards you. Keep going! Ooh, where are we? The road fades into an old tunnel. There are no signs of mining, no signposts, no human voices. The ceiling is supported by wooden beams, but the light only reaches so far. The chilling wind mercilessly bends the few lonely trees, while the shrubs oppose the weather patiently. The side path leading west is somewhat maintained, and you find both boot prints and cart tracks. It leads higher into the mountains. I guess we're going in the tunnel? Feels like a bad idea. Bad enough that I'm gonna save. Your mount observes the area anxiously, so you stay for a moment to give it a good scratch under its neck and say some confident-sounding rubbish. Good, Geoffrey, you're such a good, brave boy. You unpack all the things you need to make a new, simple torch. A log, some old rugs, a bit of oil. Don't I have that lantern, though? You grab your tinderbox and sit on the ground for a couple of minutes, preparing the flint and the linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the southern invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. It's not the best, but it's enough to make a couple sparks. The loud, flickering yellow light unevenly hits your cheek with heat. You raise the torch, but hold it at an angle, letting the oil drip on the ground. Into the tunnels, I guess! Oh, this is a bad idea. For a few minutes, you follow a fairly straight corridor. The timber supporting the ceilings is decaying, but you don't spot any signs of collapse. The floor is littered with bones and rotting food, most likely dragged in here by wild beasts. But there's also signs of soot above you, and boot prints left on the dried mud. You reach the crossroads and stop in place. There's no sconce in sight, but you'd have to constantly carry the torch or lose it for good, and it won't last for long anyway. The draft is hardly noticeable, so looking for an exit in the dark could be dangerous. But I do have the lantern! You place a candle on the ground, then light it up with another few sparks from your tinderbox. You shove it inside the lantern through the hole on its top, pressing it onto a nail. You shake it for a bit, making sure it'll stay standing. The candle isn't as bright as your torch, but it's safer, and it'll last longer, and can easily be replaced by another one. Go deeper. Oh dear, oh no, I don't like this. We're gonna get lost. The road ahead is like the one you just crossed, a human-carved, straight corridor supported with beams, while the other paths are curved and narrow. The only light comes from the exit, minutes away from here. Look around? Remains of prey and fruit are rotting, but get sparser the deeper you enter the tunnel. The moist walls are shining as if they're made of ore unknown to human tribes. You observe the dried trails. The one left by boots head towards both corridors. The path to your right also has marks left by hoofs and wheels. There's some of the fresher trails leading deeper into the tunnel, resemble human souls but deformed, lacking skin between their toes. Maybe to the right? The corridor is unlike the others, taller and more rounded, with claw marks on the walls. It leads you to a chamber with a ceiling supported by a single beam. There's also an abandoned cart, the fence of an animal pen, and a few long sticks and planks. You take a glance at the new exit. It leads slightly upward, and looks a bit like stairs. Search the room? Find no caches or boxes, and the cart is empty. The one thing that draws your attention are the planks and logs themselves. They're in decent shape, flexible, though too moist to be worth carrying out of the cave. They can be turned into a new door, or maybe a table. Alright, what about the stairs? You flinch after the light touches the resting bone, but nothing tries to jump at you. You hear no shuffling feet. You step forward and take a closer look at the remains of the massive creature. It used to be 2 times as long as your palfrey, 3 if you were to count the hind limbs. It resembles a bear, but its skull has no sharp teeth and is of a different shape. Take a closer look. The ribs of the creature are as long as your own trunk, though the age makes them brittle. You observe the long legs, horse-like head, and the massive stomach. You can't tell if you've ever seen such a beast alive, but surely not its trophies. A part that's uniquely sharp are the creature's claws. They could pierce 2 sides of your skull at once, as curved as a war pick and as heavy as an axe. The marks on the walls perfectly match them. While impressive, they're too old and awkward to be turned into tools. Dang it. Alright, let's leave the chamber. Turn... Oh, animal pen. Oh, okay. Alright. I'm wasting time. Left. The air in the chamber is humid. The straw beds are covered with mold, the sagging racks are bending under their own weight, and the animal pelts on the floor release a terrible stench. Search the room carefully. Ooh! You found using an old walking stick, you push the furs and mattresses aside, and you spare your gloves from touching the sticky odds and ends by wrapping them with cloth. You find only one thing of value, hidden in rare, dry bowl, pushed to the side of the shelf. A tiny ring made of bone. Not a coin, but a piece of jewelry, still elegant, with distinguished carving of a fish on its top with scales on its side. Ooh! Maybe I can give that to, the guy who wants to be a, freaking carpenter. He could see the style. Alright, move forward. I think we've still got time. Move forward. You forge ahead for another few long minutes, no longer able to see the light from the exit. You'd need to stand on someone's shoulders to touch the ceiling. So far, you ride through the tunnel without getting out of the saddle. The sound of the stream is reaching you from ahead. This time there are no side paths. Examine the tunnel. Spend a few minutes walking back and forth. Here the wooden support is denser, with more beams on both walls and the ceiling. The trash, on the other hand, is sparse, and you find nothing of use. The animal trails turn back to the entrance, with the exception of the human-like bony prints. Move forward. The stream has formed into a wide pond. You stab it in a few spots, but it turns out to be only a finger or two deep. There's no sign of a bridge. Take a look at the water. It's clean, but the dark rocks and the lack of light camouflage is soft, sand-like bed. You find a few fish bones and other remains, but with every step you disturb the sediment, further clouding the water. The water flows from your right to the left. The trail is wide enough to follow, at least for a few steps, and so tall you can do so without crouching. Follow the water. Ooh, you added the caviar mushroom to your bag of ingredients! I really need to find an alchemist station somewhere. The corridor became less spacious after just a few steps, but you managed to take a good look around, moving both with and against the flow. The wet walls are home to worms, mold, and what looks like pale spiders, though only with 6 legs. Among the commotion, you spot a cave ear sticking out of the wall. A familiar, though unfriendly mushroom with creamy color distorted by your light. You grab your knife and cut away what seems like the least bug-infested chunk, and after wrapping it with a linen sheet, you wash your hands. The cave ear is used by some fighters to enhance their senses in combat. Combined with the snakebait flower, could be a helpful addition to your collection of potions. Alright, let's move forward. The open door to your right leads to a narrow corridor. You take a look further down the tunnel. A cave-in broke the timber, blocking the path forward. Quick save. Look at the cave-in. You push away a few rocks, making them roll on the floor, but the blockade is at least a few steps deep. It would take an entire team of diggers to get through, if it's possible at all. You climb up a bit and peek through the larger hole, close to the ceiling. There's a weak light coming from the distant end of the tunnel. Okay. What about the door? It squeaks. The corridor resembles the interior of a fortress, with flat, regular walls and a ceiling so low you couldn't ride through it. You reach another, much larger chamber, which seems to mimic the corridor's style. I enter it. The spoiled food and moldy planks make you hold your breath. The chamber used to serve as a dining spot with tables, chairs, shelves for mugs, and barrels of drinks, but all that's left are worms and mustiness. You don't see the furthest wall until you bring your light closer. The open door leads to a new, natural cavern. Another closed door is the corner of the room, opposite of the one you came from. Search the chamber. This place was abandoned in haste, but you find no signs of large creatures, bones, or destruction. The wood gives way only to time. A few of the barrels still contain liquids, though you wouldn't dare open them. Close to the exit leading to a cave, you find a hook with a simple iron key. You pick it up and it stains your hand with rust. Open door. The cave is so moist that the diggers placed planks on the ground, serving as a now useless bridge through the puddles. The rocks shaped like icicles ominously hang from the ceiling, in some spots merging with their on-the-floor counterparts and forming hourglass-like columns. Search the chamber. You leave the rotten planks and explore the cavern carefully, making the light dance on the droplets and puddles, but you find nothing of use or value. Alright, what about the door? The door opens quietly and you return to the main tunnel. You could turn south again and see if there's anything you missed, but after you blink a few times, you realize there's a light at the opposite end of the tunnel, far ahead. It's weak and flickers like a torch. I want to go back. There's that other door. Door in the corner. The door gives way. The next room is too large for your light to reach all the corners at once. The empty shelves, chests, and spear racks give no promise of a hidden treasure, but you also find a box of rusty nails, cracked barrel in the corner, and a broken blade. You could spend some time collecting these and other iron scraps, then sell them at the village. In the room's corner, you notice a wide sheet of moldy fabric that covers a large part of the wall. We've still got 8 hours. Collect the scraps. Having no useful tools at hand, you struggle to dismantle the barrel and cut away all the bits of wood that are attached to the pieces of iron and steel. After a long while, you prepare a decent clanging sack. For now, you move it to the dining chamber and leave it by the exit. Maybe we could sell that at Creeks. What about the curtain? It's divided in the center, allowing you to draw it. Behind it, you find a tiny room, maybe 2 steps wide and 3 steps deep. It's silent, not as humid. The wall ahead isn't like the other. It's covered with red and purple bricks. Anything unusual? Wall to your left and right bear a few iron hooks that could be used to hang cloaks, paintings, or trophies. The corners aren't too dusty, and there's no footprints on the floor. You inspect the brick wall further. In its center, at chest height, you spot a distinctive engraving. It's a winged hourglass, about a finger long. Okay, we need an hourglass? Okay. Okay, back to the tunnel. Okay. Let's see. You could still see the light flickering at the end of the tunnel. You could also go to the south and make sure you haven't missed anything. Maybe I should. Hang on. There. Oh, you reach the other side of the cave-in, getting a good view at its size. You find a new door here. It's a bit tilted, closed, and foggy. Try to open the door. The small iron padlock won't budge. I have the key! After a bit of wiggling, the padlock gives in, the door lets out a sigh, and you enter a humble cave that's been turned into a storeroom. Your light reveals crates, a pile of timber, a stack of rocks, and another pile of bricks. Search the chamber. Move the building materials aside, taking note of the somewhat dry timber, but the first thing you find are the tools stored in one of the crates. Crude axes, hammers, chisels, pickaxes, and digging bars are all old and made of rocks, antlers, and bones. Though they're worthless, you move a few of them closer to the tunnel. If necessary, you'll know where to find them. Nice! Enter the storeroom? Oh, no, that's where I just was. Okay, crossroads. Go back to the cave. Dining room. Is this wasting time? Main tunnel. Stream. Was there anything? I don't think so. I think we reached the end of the streams here, maybe. Yeah, okay. Hide my light or move closer to the light. It could be someone. Who could it be? I'm gonna hide my light. You simply put it on the ground in the entrance to the cavern with the stalactites. You'll pick it up if you need it. Move closer. Put away your light and sneak forward. You pay attention to sounds and movements, but there's no crackling of a campfire, no wandering or chatter. You see a shape of a gate far, far in the distance. Look for anything unusual. This is a dangerous situation. Though you do so in almost complete darkness, you notice something blocking your boot. You crouch and touch the long cord stretched right above the ground, and a few spots holding pieces of wood and bone that are meant to make sound if disturbed. You cut it carefully, putting the remnants of the trap on the floor. Alright, let's get close. Slowly but surely, you reach the edge of the light, but don't dare get any closer. The distinctive shadows belong to unmoving, human-like shadows that have no flesh on their necks and chests, only bones. You move back. There may be 3 undead there, if not more. You could prepare some surprises in the tunnel to slow them down or even weaken them, but who knows how easy it would be to outsmart them. Let's see. I may not have much patience with hunting, but I know a few things about traps. With your vague knowledge of carpentry and a few attempts, you should be able to figure out a few tricks, deadfalls, whip traps, or footholds. All you need to is pay close attention to your surroundings and find some wood, tools, and sharp rocks. It shouldn't be too difficult in these corridors. However, not all traps will be equally effective in every spot. Okay. I do have all those things. What do I do? How much time do we have? There's the cave-in. Can't set a trap here. Crossroads. Stalactites. Dining room. Main tunnel. Stream. Okay. Back. Head to the stream. Maybe I could put a trap here. Look around. A few footholds to slow down the undead. In the more static parts of the water and surround them with sticks, it would be enough to catch one's foot, even if for only a few breaths. Since you already know where to find some decent wood, you can get it done in just a few minutes, okay? You observe the traps carefully. Even in strong light, they're barely visible. Alright, what about Exit. Tunnel hides no surprises. Could I put a trap here? Monsters tie the monster claws to a branch and construct a whip trap. Ooh, yeah, you could hide the bent branch behind one of the supporting beams, though it won't be easily to camouflage the triggering cord in darkness. Thanks to the tools you found, it won't take more than half an hour. Okay, let's do that. Getting hit with the monstrous claws could kill you on the spot. Let's hope that does not happen. Crossroads. Animal pen? Yeah, let's go deeper into the tunnel. We got 4 hours left. Cave in. I can't set a trap here. Storeroom. Outside. A trap here. May alert them with noises. To place the trap here, you have to be quiet and careful. Okay. We could do the whip trap again. Enough supplies to build one more whip trap. Let's get to it. Okay. How many traps is that? There were 3 undead. I placed 3 traps. Could I put a trap here? A few footholds. Yes. Okay, let's get to it. And main tunnel. Is this a bad idea? Alright, we're just gonna try. Let out a shout. Take a deep breath. You know what? Let's start off with something slow. I come in peace. Oh dear. The creatures don't scream or wail, and neither make threatening gestures nor cast angry glances. You hear only the rattle of their bones as they hit against the rocky floor. The empty eye sockets of the naked skulls reveal nothing. Oh, 4 skeletons! Wear a few rags, and 2 of them still have scraps of flesh on their limbs. Their weapons are unconvincing, simple digging tools and spheres tipped with rocks, but you notice the speed and confidence of their movement. The one in the back is holding a wooden lantern while the other one is carrying a fresh torch, but the group doesn't pay much attention to their steps. I don't have a crossbow! Okay. Oh dear! Oh no! Both you and the skeletons have the time to take a proper stance, filling the chambers with the thuds of your boots and bones and without your flesh. Target blocks, dodges, making you fight as if you're facing a human. Struggle to land any hit. End up surrounded and crushed. Oh dear. Oh no, shoot! Did I not use the traps? I was supposed to run. Okay. Let me load. Thank goodness I saved. Okay, I just shout. Okay, run towards the door. Jump over the cord stretched above the floor, but after one undead triggers it, it gets hit only with the tip of the branch, not too forcefully. Other creature gets back to its feet, it's still going. Chamber, jump over the foothold, the undead don't realize what's happening. Sinks into the hollowed plank, the others come to a halt, helping you get out. It's your opportunity to act. Run to the dining chamber. Leave. Doors no lock, you can't keep them away. Strike the closest one, then move back. Manage to land a reckless attack, barely hitting one of the arm bodies. The creature strikes you back with a crude sledgehammer, limited by the size of the corridor. You fail your block. While the undead leans away for a few moments, it doesn't take long to straighten up again. Uh-oh. Turn to the stream. Okay, it's your opportunity to act. Face the undead! Okay, that did not work. Oh, Yabby's soul has left its shell. Okay, that did not go good. Let's replay the encounter. Maybe I should have set the traps elsewhere. Run towards the door. Run to the chamber. Okay, sinks in the hollow plank. Okay, undead. Oh god. The limited space helps you predict the skeleton's movement and defend your side. With or without flesh, your target blocks the dodges, making you fight as if you're facing a human, not a bloodthirsty beast. You struggle to land any hit with the weight of your axe hardly compensating for all the parrying, darkness, and rattling. Brave swings turn into a desperate... Wait. I'm gonna try one more time. Can I shout? I want to run... I'm just gonna keep running. Keep running. Turn towards the stream. Run up the tunnel. Okay. The whip trap remains untouched. Oh, dang it. Alright, we'll see. I think I'm just gonna get injured either way. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, with or without flesh, the target blocks and dodges, making you fight as if you're facing a human, not a bloodthirsty beast. Struggle to land any hit with the weight of your axe, hardly compensating for all the parrying, darkness, and rattling. Your brave swings turn into a desperate fight for survival when the powerful blow reaches your back, sending you into the ground. Where you take a strong blow to your cheek, you crawl away before getting to your feet once more, seeking hope and starting anew. Finally, you end up surrounded with crushed and detached bones, hurting so much you have tears in your eyes, the corridors fall silent. You cough out blood, you search your bags for bandages. I'll decide what to do with the corpses after I leave the tunnel. The closed tunnel. Let me look at that. I'm very badly injured. Winged hourglass. Oh, holy symbol used in the north. Okay. It decorates jewelry, tombstones, and weapons. Good to know. So maybe that's what we need to find. I'm on the verge of death. Deep into the tunnel. I'm gonna follow it. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have saved there. Okay, the tunnel is quiet and dry. Enter the dark tunnel. While the chamber is in shambles, you recognize its unusual furniture. The sharpened stakes, shield-like tables for crossbow users, empty sphere racks. If necessary, it could be the last line of defense for guards and diggers, surrounding any beasts or bandit determined to reach this end of the tunnel. You're in front of a massive double-leaf gate, taller than 2 humans made of bronze. You're not sure if a single shell can move it. Hang on, let me check. Do I have bandages or healing anything? I don't think I do. Oh, gosh. I don't. I'm very badly injured. We're just gonna okay, we're gonna search the room. How much time do we have? 2 hours before dusk. We can go back to, Foggy, maybe. Plenty of furniture to look under or push aside. The undead left little to no signs of their presence, as if they were idly standing for years. Small pile of candles and another much larger used candle stump don't explain why the walking corpses would use light. I'll grab a few for later. Look at the gate. It's made of sheets held up by thick bars. The pictures impress the surfaces portray fishers in their catch, sea monsters covered with nets, falling harpies, and working diggers. While it's doubtful it's made of a material worthy of turning into blades, it's priceless. You look through the keyhole, observing the continuing path and the clear sky with ease despite the cobwebs. You take a deep breath of fresh air, then put 4 fingers in size. A key of this size shouldn't be difficult to find. The gate requires some massive key. Okay, I don't have that. I'm gonna go back to Joffrey. Might be the right time to take care of the corpses? Maybe. I am very badly injured. Picking up the bones won't take much time, but the funeral traditions are rather demanding. You need to chop up and gather enough wood to form a big pile somewhere down the hill. Of course, the orthodox approach is not only the possible one. Breaking down the crushing bones. Let the wolves and deer do the work. I'll get back to it later. I have to go. I'm very injured. Let's seek shelter. It's too dangerous to stay here. Okay, let's travel. Foggy Lake would be we could get there in time. I don't think we could get anywhere else. The old tunnel. Okay. We are very hurt. I need to... Yeah, I'm so hurt. At least we're not dead. I'm so tired. You spot a baited claptrap set near the palisade. Oh, cool. I enter the tavern. I am so hurt. Do you want any of my things? Maybe willing to buy them? How much for this? 4 dragons. Maybe later. I need to buy something. 4 meals bought in advance. How much would it be to stay here for the night? I'm gonna sleep. Let's see. Sleeping in the attic or sleeping in the main hall? I don't have enough vitality. So I'm gonna rent for 2 rations or rent for 1 dragon. Let's rent for 1 dragon and sleep. Oh man, we're badly hurt. As you prepare your belongings, you realize the days are getting noticeably shorter. The closer you get to autumn, the less time you'll have before the beasts of the night leave their lairs. For now, it won't be that bad, but I better make sure not to waste too many hours. What, like traveling all the way into a cave for no reason? Whatever. It's a calm, warm night. As your first sleep ends, you stretch out and prepare for an active hour or 2. It's time to take care of some things that must be done at least once every few days, though they are a bit more challenging than your nightly routine. Ooh, yes. Check on our ingredients. Get rid of plants that didn't dry out. Wash our jars. Just the chores. Good morning. I'm starving to death. The days are getting shorter. Oh no. Alright, I will use my last dragon bone for meals. Because we really need some. I'd like to eat. Thank you. We are badly hurt. And I think it's time for me to go. Let me check our map. Okay. I don't have enough vitality to get the door open. That's the thing. I'm very badly hurt. Where would we go to get healing stuff? I don't know. I guess we go to the... No, that's a bad idea. Hell to the north, maybe. The creeks might be able to help us. We do have scraps we could sell at White Marshes. Maybe I should run there real quick. Peat fields. Bricks and fuel. I don't know. I feel like that was a dumb idea, everything I just did, but it felt like it would help. I don't know. That cave was very big. Maybe I should have come back later. But I think I just didn't set the traps in the smartest way. I should have been keeping further track of the directions that I went. You know what? I'll eat a second time. Just so we have... Okay, we're nice and full. We have that at the very least, but our vitality is very low. As for what we should do... I don't know. We're very badly hurt. I think we need to... I don't know. So I think we're gonna end here for now, because we're very badly hurt and I'm not entirely sure what to do. I'd like to keep going to Gale Rocks, but I think we need to backtrack. Maybe go back to Howler's Dell, maybe stop at White Marshes along the way and sell things, and then maybe circle back around and go the other way. We need to get our vitality up if we're gonna open that door, or we need to find the key, but I didn't see a key in there, did I? I guess I could explore again right now, but it seems like kind of a waste of time. I don't know. We'll see. At least there's no more undead in there. Oh, wait! I'll go back. I need to take care of the bodies, or I'm gonna forget. It's only right. Okay, take care of the corpses. Whoever these creatures used to be, they deserve a proper parting rites. It may take me 3 hours or so, but I'll let them rest on a pyre. Oh, God. Good thing I'm already disgusting. After spending a few more minutes in the darkness, you bring the 3 sacks filled with human remains to a small, regrowing clearing. You put on gloves, prepare some tools, and collect wood from the thicket in the tunnel, crudely splitting branches and logs. Covered with sweat, soil, and the scent of smoke, you observe the head-high flames. The bones are sticking out of the wood like hedgehog quills and crack from the heat loudly. I should wash my hands. Okay, oh, yeah, the days are getting shorter. It's only day 6! I suppose I could explore the tunnel and search for the key, but I don't know where it would be. And I don't know if it's a waste of time to do so. Here, let me see. Does it take time to explore the tunnel? 9:15. It does. Okay. Well, let's see. Bronze Gate. Vitality 3. Storeroom. I feel like I've pretty much explored everything there is to do here. Armory. Tiny room. Oh! Oh! Crush the wall! Takes quite a few hits, but finally you move the broken pieces to the ground, then reach inside the secret compartment. You find a key made of bronze, as large as your forearm. The now destroyed brick used to be held by some sort of mechanism. Okay. The chamber is like a battlefield. Bronze Gate? Oh, I have the key, but I don't have enough vitality! Damn it! Alright, I'll head back to Joffrey. We have the key, at least. Yeah, okay, keys. Let's see. Huge bronze key from an old tunnel in the north. So we can't even open the door right now. We need to get our vitality up, but I don't know where to do that. Maybe you guys can let me know. I've just been kind of running all over the place. Currently, my idea is... It would take a whole day, though. Get back to Howler's Dell, or maybe stop at the White Marshes, even though we can't do that right now. And then sell our stuff, get healed up, or we keep going and risk it, but I don't think I want to do that. I need to get some health back. We need to figure out how to do that, where we can buy some stuff, figure it out from there, but that's gonna take some time, and probably a whole other day. On the bright side, we are getting better at exploring. We just need to keep going, especially now that the days are shorter. We have a whole side of the map we still haven't explored. But I think we're going to worry about that next time. Our goals, get healed up, get the bronze gate open, and then go from there. Maybe sell our stuff. We do have those iron scraps that we can sell. I think that would be a wonderful shout. Maybe they'd want it over here, but I don't know. We'll have to see, but we'll figure it all out next time. Until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, place your traps in strategic positions, and have a good day.